everybody. I am Al, the dog trainer, here with my good friend Mandy. Welcome to episode number 25 of the Ask Al Show. Hey, thank you so very much for joining in tonight. We're so excited. We've got a bunch of questions for you guys. But this is our first time actually doing one on YouTube with all of this gear, so it's a little different for us. I'm going to actually see if I can see you guys on my iPad as I'm on here, so bear with us for just a second. Okay, I can see that we're live. I want to be able to see y'all's questions. And okay, great. And I turned the volume up instead of down. I know. All right, so we can see it. Hopefully, I'll be able to see y'all's comments. So hey, if you're watching this, please be sure to say hello. If you're watching this after the fact and you've never watched any of this, I am a dog trainer in Houston, Texas. What we do is we help families raise happy and reliable dogs. The format of the show basically is you ask any dog training question, regardless of what it is, what issue you're struggling with, if it's leash pulling, if it's dog aggression, if you're trying to learn how to use a particular tool, if you want to know more about clicker, about dog food, this is the place to ask those types of questions. So couldn't be happier to have you guys here. So, but yeah, if there are anybody that has any comments, please be sure to leave those down below. So I'm going to go ahead and let Mandy ask me the very first question. So what's up first?
First question is, what is your tip on stopping a dog from getting excited and jumping on people who come over to the house?
Okay, so look, overexcitement is obviously it's a really big thing for our dogs. You know, every time your dog gets excited, this is really where all the problem behaviors are coming from. Teaching your dog how to be calm in the macro is the big thing that you're trying to do to help your dog to understand how to deal with any situation. But it's not always so easy. You know, today I was going to clients' homes and seeing what they were struggling with, and as a matter of fact, this very issue with dogs jumping on me when I walked into the home, I could see the problem. And the problem first starts with us. The first thing that you could ever do, and please do this, the first thing that you could ever do with this is make sure that you have a leash on your dog. If you don't have a leash on your dog, it's going to be very difficult for you to be able to do anything. Now, I know it's cumbersome to have a leash on your dog throughout the day, but if you are diligent for about 3 to 6 weeks, working with your dog on a daily basis, that leash is going to be able to come off. So the first tip that I have for you, if you have a dog that you're struggling with getting overexcited, is put a leash and a collar. Probably the best leash that you could put on your dog is going to be the British slip lead. The British slip lead is a very powerful leash. It actually is going to have more of a calming effect. If you just have one of those regular buckle collars, let me show you one real quick. If your dog, like Gabby who I've got here, if your dog is, okay, hold on. If your dog has this, okay, a buckle collar, there's very little that you're going to be able to do. Hey guys, I just found out that there's a little bit of an audio issue. We're going to see if we can get that resolved. But if not, we're just going to continue to go. Thank you guys for watching. But yeah, sorry about that. Sorry about that audio issue. So look, if your dog is wearing a buckle collar and a leash, it's actually going to be kind of hard for you to be able to convince your dog to become calm. A slip line, a British slip leash, your prong collar, all of those training tools, those pressure tools will do a significantly better job of having your dog understand what it is that it's supposed to do. Let's go back over that. So the dog is jumping on people. It's pretty simple in my mind when I look at this. It's a case of punishment when you're looking at you actually want your dog to do something less. And in the dog world, punishment is all about timing. You literally have about 1.5 seconds from the time that your dog is doing something wrong to be able to tell them effectively that you didn't want them to do it. However, the work that you really have to do to get your dog to stop jumping on people is to show them where in the room that you actually want them to be and then begin to really reinforce the dog. Some reinforcement that's actually difficult for people is, they always want to have food, but you don't have to have food. You can use petting, you can use praise, you can just be standing there next to your dog, and that can actually be enough reinforcement for a lot of situations. Like I know jumping is difficult. It's probably important for you to correct your dog once for jumping on somebody intentionally and be sure that you're firm when you do that. But then otherwise, you need to make it very clear where all the reward for that particular behavior is, and you're going to get a lot more success out of your dog. Yeah, look, I'll give one more piece of information here. As we're filming this, okay, I've got Gabby right here, right next to me. And if you guys have been watching any of our videos, especially I have a video where I'm in the kitchen, which is right over that way, where I have Gabby on a red rug, and I asked her to be in a down right there. That's the same thing that I'm doing right now. I just literally moved the red rug over here. Have never put Gabby on it, but I told her to stay there. And so now throughout the show, what I'm going to be doing is coming over, petting my dog, and letting her know that that's exactly what I want her to do while she has to settle while all these lights and these cameras are going. So, all right, guys. So, anyway, hey, hope that answers your question. If you need more help than that, please reach back out. We'll definitely maybe have to do like a demonstration video of what that looks like. Okay, so what's next?
Next is how do you stop a dog from pulling on the leash?
This is another really big issue for folks, okay? And I find for us that, when we're trying to take our dogs out for the walk, it actually starts inside your home. I see a lot of dogs that the leash comes out, and then you see the dog just jumping to the rafters. They're jumping at the door with all this excitement, and I understand that they're happy to be able to go out there. But the problem is you build all this excitement, you open the front door, and away you go on the leash with the dog dragging you, out there. And that's really where it starts. It starts right there at your front door. So the one thing that you could start doing today that's going to begin to de-escalate that whole situation, go ahead and put your leash on your dog. Go ahead and put your collar on the dog. Let your dog get excited. Put the leash in your hands, slack the whole leash in your hand, and then what I want you to do is I want you to open the door, and when your dog crosses the boundary of the door, don't go with your dog, pull your dog fully back in the door and slack the leash again. If they bolt right back out, keep doing that process until the dog actually stands at the threshold of the door and no longer pulls. Okay? The moment that happens, instead of being so happy and getting all excited and really, yelling with joy because your dog finally got it right, I want you to very calmly and very quietly begin to praise your dog and pet your dog's back. That's so important at that point that you de-escalate all that energy that the dog just went through to show them that I really appreciate you for being very calm right here at the door when it's fully open. I know you want to go for a walk. So start doing that. Start doing that. Make that boundary clear. Show them a really important reward on the inside of the door frame. And now step 2, cross the door frame. You cross the door frame, immediately ask your dog for a sit. Do not go any further. Do not cross go if your dog does not sit. Make your dog sit. Take as much time as you need. Be patient but assertive. And when your dog sits there on the other side of the door, reward your dog well, and then close the door. If you make it real clear to the dog that I'm going to open the door, I'm going to let you go out, but I'm going to pull you back in, and then you show them that, hey, when I open the door, if you stay here, I will heavily reward you in a calm fashion, and then you make them sit again, you are off to a great start with your walk. That's going to go a lot further for you than that. So those are some useful tips that I think that you guys could use. If you need more help than that, there's definitely some more training to do, but that's a good way to get started with your walk. All right, so what's next, Mandy?
Well, I want to make sure we get this.
Yeah.
There's a bad echo, so we need to make sure that it's clear. Can somebody? Okay, so it's good. Okay, okay.
All right, well, we're going to play the intro again. I definitely would have watched that again. I definitely would have watched the intro again. But hey, guys, welcome back to this technological adventure that is Ask Al. Yeah, thanks for watching. I hope that we've been able to resolve our audio issues that we were experiencing. I'm looking to see if the show is back on. How did I find it last time? Okay, there it is. Episode Al 2 are watching. Is that it? Okay, maybe so. All right. Well, I think I'm back. Yeah, I'm probably back on now. All right. Well, guys, I'm Al Longoria. I'm a dog trainer in Houston, Texas. I love to help people train happy and reliable dogs. This young lady right here, this is my good and dear friend Mandy. She likes rescue dogs, and she makes like the most beautiful stones that you guys have ever seen. We're gonna have to have like a whole episode just highlighting your stones because like really they're.
I don't think we can do a whole episode, but
No, I probably could. Yeah, it would be a 5-minute episode, but it would be a really good episode because guys, Mandy is seriously very, very talented artist, makes some really great stones, and so I don't mind saying that here publicly. She's made several for my family, for my individual family. So here's a shout out to her. The Stoned Butterfly, is that right? Yeah, the stone. Okay, cool. Yeah, like I get a little stage fright too. The Stoned Butterfly. If I could put a link up right now or a logo, I would do that, but I don't have that power. So yeah. Yeah, she'll put the website up. But hey, guys, welcome back. Love each and every one of you guys. And so hey, now I see that we've started it again. This is cool because we were able to start the live stream up again. So that's something different. Hey, Robert, good to see you, man. Hey, for those of you guys watching, say hello. I'd love to know who's watching. Really appreciate each and every one of y'all tuning in tonight. So. The echo is intermittent. Yeah, we're trying to figure out what's going on with the echo, man. What I think is that we've got another microphone over there and we've got the microphone here. So you know what? I'm going to even try this. Maybe if I move the microphone even further away from Mandy's, we're going to get a little bit less. Maybe it's just Mandy. You know, I don't know. I'm kidding. Maybe, I don't know. Oh, I was about to get hit right there. And so anyway, all right. So there you go. thestonebutterfly.com. Everybody go visit that for some awesome artistic work that my friend Mandy does. So, all right. So back to answering your questions about dog training. So Mandy, should I continue with the last one on the? Hey, I don't know what I was talking about. I don't know how much got lost in the last one. So I'm going to go back over it. So what was that question again?
Well, the last question was about the leash pulling and how do I keep my dog from pulling.
Yeah, like I'm going to go back over it. It'll be a little bit different, but like here's in essence what I said about leash pulling. Okay, it really starts at your front door. You know, a lot of dogs get excited. They see the leash and they're so happy to go outside because they're going to see the squirrels, they're going to see the dogs, they're going to see the world, they're going to see your neighborhood, all sorts of great things. So look, I understand dogs are getting excited, but excitement in dogs is the precursor to all bad behaviors. I know I say that. I probably sound like a broken record, but you know, it's just true. You know, your dog gets excited and that's whenever they screw up. So de-escalating the excitement at the front door is a necessary thing to be able to have a successful leash walk with your dog. So here's some things that I recommend. A, open the front door with a leash in your hand and it's totally slack. That means that no leash other than what's around your wrist and what you can barely hold in your grip is in your hand. So open the door when that's going on with your leash and let your dog go out the door. Your dog goes out the door, it's got its collar on, you're using a training collar, and then you put tension down the leash until the dog is 100% of the way back into the house. Repeat that several times. Open the door, let your dog choose to go out. Do not say stay, do not say wait, do not say sit. Get the dog to do that. Now, your dog's probably looking up at you like, hey, what the hell? When am I going to be allowed to go back out the door? So now that your dog's actually looking up at you, asking this question, now is the time, and like I did earlier, calmly praise your dog. Do not do it like the way that I was just talking. Calmly praise your dog. Be boring, but be meaningful and deploy that meaningful reward to help your dog understand that staying inside the door when it's open is exactly what I want you to do. Really, really double down on your dog getting rewarded at the door when the door is fully open and the leash is 100% slack. All right. The next step, you've done those two things. You've opened the door, you've let your dog bolt, you've pulled your dog back in. That was step one. Step two, your dog is now inside looking at you. What the hell? Where are we going or not? And you say, I'd like you to sit every time the door is open. You reward the dog with calming reward. And then you physically move the dog with your leash through the door and make them sit again. Yep. Make your dog sit one more time. May seem real redundant. You'll thank me because if your dog ever bolts out the front door with no leash and there's a car there, that's the scariest thing that I can think of, but that's what you're preventing. You're preventing the end of your dog's life because they just wanted to go for a walk with you. So pull them back in from bolting out the front door. Let them bolt, pull them in. Make the dog sit inside the door. Make the dog sit on the outside of the door. And that's the first steps that you're going to take to de-escalate your walks. I'm telling you, it's going to work for you in a big way. Next.
Okay. How do I stop my dog from barking?
So there's a lot of different barks. There's a lot of different barks that dogs can do. They have the high-pitched barks. They have the low-pitched barks. They have the intermittent ones. They have the ones that are really whiny. There's so many different kinds of barks, okay? Before I tell you that you should stop your dog's barking, I really want you to listen to some video or listen to your own dog and the different barks that it have. Because, like, I've recently been in some homes where people are saying, well, my dog is in the backyard. My dog is in the backyard and he's barking incessantly at me. But then in the same session, they're also telling me my dog is digging holes in the backyard. You know, your dog uses their bark and their whines and their vocalizations to try to communicate to you. I don't think that it's necessarily fair to punish a dog for barking. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm the first to punish any kind of excessive barking from a dog, and I definitely think that you should do that, and I'm going to teach you how to do that effectively. But before you actually go through with punishing your dog for barking, I really want you to ask, what is my dog trying to communicate to me, and am I being fair with that particular thing that they're asking me for? You know, if your dog's in the backyard and he's at the door and he's barking to get inside, then maybe you should bring him inside and teach him how to be calm. Now, for sure, if he's barking, you should make him calm down before you open the door or while you're opening the door and letting him in. I would definitely do that. So now with that being said, that you guys are listening to your dog, understanding why they're barking, and you definitely know that this is a time that we absolutely need you to be quiet. The single easiest way to tell a dog to stop barking is through the use of a remote collar, okay? If you use a remote collar, like on this one, there's 2 buttons on the side. In just a second. And Jade, on this one, this is not the one I want you to zoom in yet, okay? On this particular remote collar, there's 2 buttons. You can probably see them there. There's a black and a red button, okay? If you've gone through the conditioning of the remote collar and your dog understands what it means, then you have this red button. That is a boost that sends a higher level of stimulation to your dog. Then when your dog starts to bark, you could press the button to tell them no, okay? The level needs to be high enough that it is effective at telling the dog to stop it. So for example, right now, there's a black and a red button. I've got Gabby right here. She has a remote collar on. If I touch the black button, it's literally like me touching the top of my case right here. But if I touch the red button, then it's going to be a little bit firmer. Okay, it's going to be like if I start thumping down on the microphone, it's going to be firmer for the dog. You need to probably have a firmer level on your remote collar to tell your dog to be quiet. but I'm going to say it again because it's definitely worth repeating. Do not correct your dog if you're being a little unfair with how the dog is trying to communicate to you, because they're just trying to ask you the best way that they can. But if you've established again that, hey, you definitely need to be quiet right now, the use of your remote collar is going to be the most effective and the most humane way to clearly communicate to them that they must stop right away. All right. I think that's pretty good answer. Oh, here, it looks like Robert has a question.
Yeah, he does. He said, so I'm starting up training Tala again with the goal of just getting my BH. I'm going to bring it back to basics to start with. What should I do?
It's a title in the sport formerly known as Schutzhund, formerly known as IPO, and now called, I believe, I'm going to get the letters mixed up. It's either IGP. Yeah, I think it's IGP. It might be IPG. No, it's IGP. So the sport of Schutzhund, IGP, okay, the place, Robert, that I would actually start is in basic position, okay? And the two conversations that I would be having with my dog, okay, is I would be showing them the value of being on my left-hand side with their head up, okay? The second thing that I would be doing, Robert, is I would actually be showing the dog how important it is to hold their down. These two skills, your dog's ability to hold basic position and move with you, and then your dog's ability to stay in a down for up to 15 minutes while another dog is going up and down the field, are the vast majority of the points in these exercises, okay? So I would really focus on those. I think I'm going to do some sport videos here pretty soon showing how I actually developed that in my dogs. And I'm not that far away. Sometime this year, I'm going to be getting a puppy so that way I can show you guys how I would actually start a sport dog in understanding how to heel and how to stay. But even making it a little bit more basic, make sure that you're being as quiet as possible when you're working your dog. And then the other thing, make sure that you're playing a lot of tug and a lot of fetch. Because just because you're working on skills, which are important, the play relationship with your dog's ability to fetch, chase after the ball, and your dog's ability to play tug is really what's going to set you up for success in the future with your sport dog in the sport of IGP. So hope those two things are helpful. And actually, if you hang around at the end of the show, we're gonna try something just a little bit more different. We're gonna do a little demonstration with Gabriela, so I can probably show you some of that there. Okay. All right. So hope that's useful, Robert. Thanks, hey, and thanks for IGP. Thanks, bro. Appreciate it, man. Okay, what's next?
The next question is how should I train my dog to be in its crate?
Kind of, I don't want to say that I'm old school because I've really only been doing this for 14 years, but look, I am 14 years into this. And I was actually, putting my dogs into crate, not putting any liners or anything like that. But I'm really starting to see in my business, and as I'm training dogs that have a hard time holding downs, is I'm really starting to see that it's important to make it really comfortable for the dog in there. As a matter of fact, a couple of weeks ago, I'm training with a family here in the neighborhood, and their dog, I couldn't get their dog into a down. I was actually working the dog for probably 15 minutes, and I couldn't get the dog into down. Now, I could have forced the dog into the down, but like I tell people all the time, I don't want to force dogs in the down. I want them to learn to use their brain to solve the problems. So I digress, but here it is, okay? Make the place, open up the crate. If you have one of those metal wireframe crates, put a nice comfortable blanket inside of there, okay? Here's a little tip that might be useful. Get a couple of drops of lavender essential oil, put them on your hands or put them directly on the blanket and rub those into the blanket, and that's going to make the dog feel absolutely great. As a matter of fact, I think well, I've done that, but I know I told Mandy here recently that if she was having some struggles with her puppy that she's raising right now, is to actually put some hay inside the crate. I think those two tips are things that I probably underutilize, but are very, very useful at getting a dog to stay inside of a crate. Okay. But the other thing, and this is a hallmark of the way that we train, is I would actually tell you that feeding your dog while they're inside of the crate is really important. So if you're free feeding your dog and they're not going into the crate, one thing that I do recommend is actually taking your dog for a long extended walk when they haven't eaten. And then I would take some of their food, maybe even something novel that they hadn't had before, and then put that inside the crate, but close the crate with the food inside and the dog on the outside of the crate. And so then you're going to actually really begin to create some desire for the dog to get in there. When you see the dog begin pawing and scratching to get at the crate, then open the door and let the dog go in. Don't close the door. So those are a couple of things. Make it super comfortable, burn some calories in the dog, put something really yummy inside the crate until the dog is trying to get into the crate, open it up and let the dog go in there. And I'm sure that's a good way to get a head start on that. I see Nicole has a question on there, so let's take that. Hey, Nicole, thanks so much for tuning in. We really appreciate you. And if there's ever anything that we can do to help you and your dog, you just let us know, okay?
She says she wants to know, can you talk about introducing a dog to new dogs, especially if one is crazy and acts aggressive on a leash? Can I let him off the leash? I hear I should, but I'm scared. He's never bit anyone.
There you go, sweetie. Gabby, who is right here, right next to me, we've got a light right there, but her foot was getting caught on it, so I didn't want the light. I didn't want the light to come crashing down on us or on her. She's being such a good girl in her down. Aren't you a good dog? Yeah, I know. I know you're a good dog. See, here's Gabby, guys. She wants to be on air too. Yeah. Okay. Lay down. Okay. Lay down. So, okay, sorry, I got a little bit distracted.
Okay.
I guess sometimes that happens.
You're trying to divert an accident.
I guess that sometimes happens. Or dogs get distracted, and your dog trainer gets distracted by his very cute little dog over here. So, yeah. So look, Nicole. I understand that there's a couple of things that I always look at. When we're socializing dogs. I do something very different than most people do because of the type of performance that I want for my dogs. I actually take any kind of meaningful play away from my dogs between the ages of about 4 months and 2 years. Now I know that's not going to solve your problem in the interim, but in the meantime. But I think really focusing on really cultivating a relationship with your dog for the first couple of years of its life is in the macro going to be the thing that's going to help give you the biggest amount of success. The other thing is how tolerant are you of your dog actually pulling on the leash? If you're very tolerant of your dog pulling on the leash, it could actually lead to some really nasty fights with other dogs. I have a client that we're starting with here in the next few weeks, and one of the things that I saw that happened to them, they showed me a video of their dog before I actually came to start training with them, is they had rescued a dog, a German Shepherd, and they actually took their German Shepherd to the dog park. So, and this was actually against the recommendation of the person that was fostering them. So I got onto my client. I said, why did you not listen to the foster? So they took the dog to the dog park against the wishes of the foster. And now here is where they made the mistake. They had their dog on a harness that had a nice front padded area. The dog had a leash that the lady was holding behind. And then another dog came up and she was trying to halfway let the dog meet the other dog, but halfway trying to keep control. And there was tension on the leash the entire time that the dog was loaded into the harness. That right there is a technique that will almost always create a fight. As a matter of fact, if you don't know anything about me, I'm a protection helper in the sport of Schutzhund or IGP. And what I do to get my dog ready before she engages the bad guy is I put my dog in a harness, I pull back on the leash, and I begin to pet the dog and talk loudly, and that brings the aggression up. And then I let my dog go, and the dog goes and gets into a fight with the bad guy. So if you're using a front harness, okay, or any kind of harness, and there's steady attention as the dog is pulling forward, that is a very quick way to actually create escalation and your dog get into a fight. What I would actually recommend is a tool like a prong collar. Prong collar is a very safe tool. We actually recommend prong collars made by Herm Sprenger. Here, actually, let me go ahead and put that in. So prong collars by Herm Sprenger. So just want you to see that. The spelling is a little different, okay? But there, prong collars by Herm Sprenger are actually really good prong collars. The 3 1/4 millimeter and the 2 1/4 millimeter are the ones that we actually use the most, that I actually use the most in the business. But what that collar does is it mimics the dog's mouth. Whenever your dog pulls on the leash, that collar is going to close, and that's going to send a message to your dog that they need to back up. So when you begin to introduce your dog to other dogs, if you've already gone through the training of showing them how to respect the boundary of the leash and the front of your body, then what's going to begin to happen is your leash will actually be slack when you walk up to people, okay? And so if the leash is slack when you walk up, that actually has a de-escalating effect on the dogs. And then the other thing that you do then is you begin to reinforce your dog for actually being by your side. And so then if you see that your dog isn't excited, the other dog isn't excited, drop the leash. And this is a perfect time for them to be able to meet. Now, there's a lot of other things that could go into it that you need to look and understand about canine body language. If your leash is slack and the other dog is calm, and letting them meet is perfectly fine, but I want you to watch those hackles, the hairs on the back of the hairs on the dog's back. If those begin to go up, then I would tell you to create some space between you and the other dog until your dog actually de-escalates. But I'll go back to the first thing I said. The first thing that you should ever do is really form a very strong relationship with your dog, showing it that moving with you on a slack leash is a very important thing. As a matter of fact, and here, Mandy, I've got a question for you. Did we just have an episode of Inside the Leash come up on leash walking? Did it go up tonight, or is that going up next week?
Tomorrow night at 7.
So yeah, so tomorrow night at 7, we have a series that we're starting, which is called Inside the Leash, and so that's going to really give you some detail on some different things.
I think that one was the one that was posted.
We do have an episode. We've got some episodes of Inside the Leash that are coming up that are going to show you how to actually take your dog through some prong collar and leash walking skills. Here, Mandy's going to pull it up real quick and see if she can find it. You might have to.
Yeah, it was the one that was posted 2 weeks ago. So train your puppy.
That's to train your puppy to stay.
Wow.
That's episode 1.
Okay, then yes. I'm sorry. It's posting tomorrow night.
Yeah, so tomorrow night at 7, okay, Inside the Leash episode 2 is coming out, and that one is going to really help you to understand how to help your dog with leash pulling. So, hey, I hope that's helpful for you. But if you have any other questions, we really love to help you and your dog. But hey, the big takeaway from this is just make sure that your dog is in a calm state. If your dog is not in a calm state, it's not a good idea for your dog to meet another dog.
Yeah. Well, and then she said, does feeding have, she said she feeds, no. Christina said, I feed my dog in the morning and the evening. Should I feed her before or after our trip to the dog park?
Well, so look, Christina, one thing that I'll tell you about feeding that I do, I don't like to feed my dogs immediately before any kind of heavy exercise. Yeah, and if you actually maybe, Andy, do you understand the question that Christina's asking?
Yeah, I think she's asking, should she feed before or after the trip to the dog park?
Yeah, I would actually feed. Okay, so here you could actually do both, but here's what I would tell you. I think that you should feed at the dog. No, because you're probably you're taking your dog off leash. Your dog is running around. It's playing with other dogs and getting activity there. So the best advice that I could do you is from the time that you leave the dog park, you set a timer for an hour and you do not feed inside that 1 hour window from when you left the dog park. There is a very nasty condition that can happen to your dog. It's called bloat. It is not very well understood, but it is a very scary thing. I'm not going to go into detail because it's pretty graphic, but just know this. This is something that we should worry about as pet owners about our dogs. And one of the things that we're kind of figuring out about bloat is that it happens whenever the dog has been very, very exercised and then consumes a lot of food and water immediately after that. So if you're taking your dog to the dog park and then you're feeding your dog a lot of food or any food within an hour of those types of events, you're really putting yourself at risk for a major tragedy, okay? We'll probably go more into bloat at some point because it is an important topic to talk about, but it is not completely understood. I probably want to get a veterinarian on the show so that way they can give a little bit more in-depth answer to this. But yeah, this is one of those things that we really need to be cautious about. So, but in general, no feeding an hour leading up to the dog park and no feeding the dog an hour after the dog park. As a matter of fact, like what I do with my dogs, if I do the whole park experience where they do a lot of exercise, I make them go into a stay for 10 minutes before I let them drink more than 3 seconds of water. And that's a daily thing that I do here in the house. And then after that, then they can begin to get food an hour after the end of the exercise. So hopefully that helps.
Okay, Robert had a good question. If your dog gets into a fight, how do you recommend separating them?
Look, I think about this one so very much, Robert. And I understand where your question's coming from. So if you're the human and your dog is in a fight and you have no tools, the one thing that I can't recommend to do is do not grab the dog by the neck and do not head to the dog's mouth. You're going to get bit. Even if your dog says, man, Al, my dog just loves me, they would never hurt me. If your dog's in the middle of a fight and you come up to their face, you're going to get bit. There's a high chance of that. And dogs accidentally bite their owners all the time when they're in an excited state of mind. So don't go up to the neck. Don't go up to the face. Okay. So if you have zero tools, you're going to take your arms. You're going to hook your arm underneath the dog's waist, and you're going to pull and run with that dog like hell. And I hope you're strong, Robert. I know you are. Okay. That's how you do it. Okay, so that's how you do it with no tools. Here's the next thing. If you're a dude, you're probably wearing a belt. If you're a chick, you're probably not. Okay, so y'all the chicks, y'all don't wear belts. Okay, dudes, some of us do. I wear a belt. If you've got a belt on, take the belt off, put it around the midsection, and then pull like crazy and pull the dog back. Okay. Now, if you have your leash, now things begin to get easier. If you have your leash, put the leash around the dog's waist. When you do that, you're going to loop it. So you've got the leash, you're going to loop it through and then pull back. Is there a leash somewhere right here? Actually, do me a favor, like on the other side of this room right here. Just go in there and there should lay down. There should be a leash right there. I want to show this to you guys because I think there might be some hanging behind those towels that are right there, Mandy. Yeah, I really want to show you guys how you should use your leash for this. You find something, Mandy? Cool. Yeah, so look, we like these British slip leashes. They're real handy. So lay down. Lay down. What you do with a British slip leash, okay, if you would take it and you would thread it through around the dog's waist, And so that would be on the dog's waist, and then you would begin to pull up and away to get the dog out of the fight. Those are really the best tips I can go. Like separating dogs that are fighting, it's never easy. A water hose can help if you've got one. Your remote collar can help if you got one. A prong collar on a leash can help if you got one. But other than that, it's basically wrestling with a dog and trying not to get bit. Okay, so if that's your dog and your dog is getting into fights, please call us, because we can help you to end the fighting and to live a much more harmonious life with your dog. You don't, like Robert, like how do you keep the other dog from reattacking? Violence. Yeah, like I don't know,
Yeah,
like
hopefully there's another person.
yeah, hopefully there's another person to help you, brother. But look, it's not an easy thing, man. If a dog, like I'll tell you this, if another dog is charging me and one of my client's dogs, I'm going to hand the leash to my client and I'm going to fight the other dog with whatever I got on me. Now, I'm always prepared, and I carry all sorts of stuff to protect myself from getting in that. And I hope to God that I never get in a circumstance that I truly have to fight a dog, because I have to win, because I cannot let something happen to my client's dogs or to my dog. And if you're the person that's letting your dog loose and it has aggression issues, you need to stop, because it's really irresponsible, and you're just going to cause a lot of heartache for people and for yourself in those cases. It's a great way to get sued too. So just going to put that out there. But hey, Robert, that's really the best that I can answer. I've been in plenty of circumstances like that, but yelling that you're an asshole is probably a good way. If there's a human nearby, yelling that, if that's their dog, that's a good way to get them to come and collect their dog. And I definitely would do that. If there's a human that's in control of their dog, yelling, "My dog is friendly."
Yeah, it's usually the case.
Okay.
All right.
So what's next?
So, what's the difference between the mini educator and the micro educator?
Yeah, I want to show this to you guys because there actually has been some new products that have come out recently. So I'm going to grab those real quick. This right here. Well, yeah, I'm going to put both of these boxes up. Maybe it'll be good to go wide for a second, Jade, so that way we can show both of these. Yeah, let me pull this into the frame a little bit more. There we go. There we go. Yeah, so both of these right here. This is the mini educator that's made by eCollar. Here, I'll get you better audio, Jade. There you go. This is the mini educator, and this is the micro educator made by eCollar Technologies. They're both fantastic tools for training your dog. You do need a little bit of an education on how to use those. And as a matter of fact, I actually have a playlist on the channel that actually will take you through the steps that I take to be able to remote collar train a dog, and to also remote collar train you, to show you how to do that. There's no difference in price on these. They both retail for $199. We do sell these and ship them all over the country. But the thing that I want to show y'all, the biggest difference between these is actually the receiver. But I'm going to show you one more thing. Yeah, two things. And here in a second, let me pull these out of the box real fast. So I really like kind of the color selection that they're choosing from. Let's see here, Jade, you can come back in close again. So these two right here, you can see that the transmitters are just about identical, okay? The mini educator, which is a little bit more powerful one, that one is the yellow one, and then this is the micro educator right here. They're pretty much the same transmitter, just in a different skin. They have the same power. But then the difference that you're going to see, is actually inside the receivers. So this right here is the receiver for the mini educator. Okay, you can see the whole body right there. It's got the light bar, and then right there, this is where you actually turn it on. But now what I'm going to show you is the receiver for the micro educator. And so it is smaller, but it actually has a feature that I like quite a bit. So I'm going to show you the front right there. As you're looking at it, you see how the collar strap is going through there on the other side? It actually has collar straps on the side right there too. So if you have a very small dog, if you've got a dog 10 pounds, 5 pounds or less, this collar is ideal because when you use this collar, it actually allows you to orient the receiver in two different orientations because the way that the collar strap is on there. So these are really great tools. I've been using mini Educator or remote collars from eCollar Technologies. I'm very impressed by their ability. They have fantastic warranties. If you're thinking about a great way to be able to help your dog understand boundaries and actually have better attention, I think that these tools are invaluable. Not everybody needs them. If you do have an aggressive dog, I think that you definitely can benefit, and you do need one. If you have an aggressive dog, it's going to really help your dog to become much calmer and the type of citizen and family member that you want. But for me, as a sport dog trainer, I've really found these invaluable. They've really helped me out quite a bit, and we've seen some incredible performances from dogs. So I think I've got one more thing that we wanted to show. So Mandy had. So yeah, go ahead and ask the question.
Yeah. So how should I walk away from my dog that's in a sit state?
Okay, guys. So let me just kind of give you some context to what I'm going to show you. So what I'm going to show you right now. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to grab a little bit of dog food. I'm going to put it into my treat pouch, and we're going to grab Gabriella so I can show you how I actually teach the sit state to the dog. We're going to move to another part of my home to be able to do this. So Jade, if you don't mind, let's see how this works out. Go ahead and maybe come out the microphones. Grab that one. Let's see, and then head over there, and then we'll head that way in just a second. But so the question was this, okay, folks have been wondering, so I don't say stay to dogs. So I don't give the stay command to dogs. I actually say good. I actually say good to dogs, okay? And when I'm telling them good, it's really for the purpose of showing them that I want to encourage you for holding the position that I want you to hold. Here's what we're going to do, okay? So you're going to go with the camera. When I get over there and she's got me framed, you'll hit the button and you'll switch over to, or if you want, yeah, we'll do it that way. We're going to try something new, so we're going to do a little bit of on the job learning, on the job training, right?
Yeah, I guess so.
Look, but let me explain this. Let me explain this sit stay real quick. So I'm going to put Gabby into a sit, and I've trained Gabby that when I walk away with my right leg, that means to stay. But when you're first starting it in the beginning, you're actually going to say the word good as you move away with your dog. You can also say sit at the same time, but that's going to be useful. So bear with us. We're going to give you a little bit of a live demonstration on this. We're going to get ourselves set up real fast and show you exactly how to do that. Right. Yeah. Gabby? Okay, sit. All right, have we switched over, Mandy? Okay, so hopefully you guys are getting pretty good sound right here. So you see Gabby is right here, right by my side. And so I'm going to show you how I teach the dog to sit. Before I do that, I just want to show you some of Gabby's movements as we're doing this. Are you ready? So Gabby should be able to understand, oh, this is a nice distraction for her. You ready? Foos. So Gabby understands how to move with my leg. Okay, that's a good girl. How to move with my leg as I'm moving. But the other thing she understands that I've taught her is that if I leave with my right leg like I just did, that she is to stay whenever I do that. So the way I actually train a dog to do this, are you ready? Go back. So the way that I actually train a dog to do this is when I have them here by my side, I really make a lot of reward for the dog in that particular position. So I'm going to reinforce this position. But then what I want to do, I'm going to withhold the food, and as I step off with my right leg, I'm going to say, good. And I'm going to keep saying good as I'm away, good. I can keep my hand behind my back, I can keep the food there, but as the dog holds the good, then I come back to the dog again, and then I reinforce the position. In the beginning, you'll use a leash. It'll be in your hand. You won't have to be holding a microphone as you're doing that. And so as the dog is sitting, if you move away and the dog breaks the sit, you will use the leash pressure to gently guide your dog back into the sit. So then I come back here, Gabby holds that, and I reinforce the position for the dog. So here we go one more time. I'm going to move with her. I'm going to move her back. Okay, so she's moving with me. I'll say, sit. I could say, good. And then Gabby's going to hold that position really nice. I can move away here. I'll actually come out of frame for a second. Okay. And so there, let's zoom in on her really nice and close. I can just keep saying good. Keep saying good. Oh, and she broke it. So there, I could say, no, Gabby. So just want to show you guys some of those things that can really help your dog. Sit. Good. Good. She gets it right. And then I come in and I reward the dog. All right. Good girl. Walk. Well, guys, I hope that's been really useful. You're going to lose the audio. This is kind of my disembodied voice for a moment, or you're just looking at my back. Gabby's ready for her food. We'll come back to this view. There you go. Go and switch it back to, there we go, back to that. Lay down, Gabby. Well, guys, hey, we really appreciate each and every one of y'all that's tuned in tonight. I know Gabby's ready for her dinner. It's 9 p.m., so we've been going for an hour. But hey, thanks so very much for watching the show tonight. It's meant a lot to me that you guys joined us. Look at all the stuff that we've gone out there. But hey, if there's ever anything that we can do for y'all, please be sure to ask. But again, anyway, I'm Al, the dog trainer. Thanks again. Y'all have a good night, and we'll talk to you later. Bye.